Hello, we're here with another reading today, and this first section that we're seeing is kind of the situation you're in. The Three of Pentacles and the Knight of Pentacles, I feel like this is you in the situation, if that makes sense. It's like either work situation, living situation, a family situation, or a friend situation. The storyteller here is about, it's kind of about people manipulating other people and casting them in certain roles. And so it could be that you are looking at people in a certain perspective and you're not allowing yourself to learn who they really are because you have it stuck in your head that they are one, like they are this, but they've outgrown that role, or they have outgrown that type of persona that they were originally putting on, and that they're trying to show you more depth within themselves, or that they're trying to show you different aspects of themselves. But I also feel like the situation is flipped as well, where you have outgrown certain roles that you've been placed in this dynamic going on over here. You have outgrown certain ways of people seeing you, but they keep either trying to manipulate you into playing the role that they want you to play for their benefit and advantage, or just simply they insist on seeing you the same way all the time, or in this very shallow, narrow way, one way, nothing else. And you're trying to kind of break out of that. I also feel like you could be doing the same thing. Like I said, it's going both ways, but I feel like you're becoming more conscious of what you're doing with that. Like, you are becoming conscious that, like, oh, you know what? I am kind of limiting this person in a way because I'm not allowing myself to see them in different aspects. And it could be that maybe you are beginning to see some negative things about this person that you weren't recognizing before. So maybe really toxic traits that they had kind of been showing you and you weren't willing to recognize. Now, I'm not saying they were showing it to you willingly, but you know what I mean. Or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. But the thing is that I feel like this is a really bad situation that you're in. Like, whatever is going on, you've been forced into this role of doing a certain thing or being a certain way, and you feel like you're obligated to stay here. You're obligated to stay in this situation and keep doing this, just like keep on keeping on, and that this is the way things are going to be forever. And you kind of just maybe previously resigned yourself to just staying in this way. But the thing is, the longer you stay there, the more resentment will build up, because you're not being allowed to be who you fully are. You're not allowed to, like, explore other aspects of life, or however way this situation is holding you back. I feel like this is something really, really toxic going on here. It could be physical, it could be mental, it could be psychological. Like, I don't know what all it is specifically. But broadly speaking, it's not good. I also see there's a pattern going on here of this cycle just keeps repeating and repeating, and you think it's going to go on forever, but you are kind of ready to break that cycle. You're ready to go, and you're ready to leave this. And you don't know how you're going to leave this, because it's going to be fucking hard. Leaving any type of situation like this, where there's been, it looks like a lot of codependency going on, is hard to leave that. But you can. And you're going to. I feel like you should. Like, you've already recognized that that's happening. So why not take the next step and improve? And be like, you know what? Actually, we're going to stop all this. Even if I just have to leave all of these people perpetuating this cycle in order to get out of it, it's time to leave. And that is where we go to the advice section. Also, if this isn't, like, you don't think this is going on in your life and this doesn't resonate, then it's probably not for you. This is kind of the marker of this is for you or this is not, because this is like we're going to be referring back to this the entire reading. So if this doesn't match what's going on with you, then this is probably not for you. If it is, we will move on to the next section. Here we have the hard part. I'm so sorry. I know that's not fun to like talk about after you've been through all of that shit. You don't want to hear. There's more hard shit ahead, but yeah. We have the Five of Swords, the King of Wands, the Four of Swords, and Temperance. So the thing is that as you leave, leaving in itself is probably going to be hard, like always. And it's probably going to, it might take time, and it's going to create a lot of waves. There's going to definitely be people in your life telling you you're doing the wrong thing, particularly the people you're leaving. So definitely find people, if you can, in your life who are going to encourage you and kind of stand by you, even if they can hold just like a safe space for you to talk about what's going on, or can encourage you or whatever. You're going to need those people beside you. So find those people if you can. The other thing is that even after you leave that situation, especially that situation had been going on for a long time, and I kind of feel like it has, with the whole Wheel of Fortune there being like, this is a cycle. You've probably developed some habits and mannerisms that kind of fall in line with the whole expectations that were placed on you in that situation, which means people who are going to want to put you in a situation similar to that are going to notice those patterns within you, and they're going to be like, oh, well, that person is great for XYZ type of situation. And it's going to attract those type of people, the same type of people again. It's kind of like when you grew up like being taught to be a people pleaser, and you're trying to leave those type of people who like reinforce you to be a people pleaser, people who want to take advantage of your people pleasing ways, and you try to leave that, but you still have those people pleasing tendencies. So then you just unintentionally attract people who are going to take advantage of those people pleasing ways again, and you have to unlearn how to people please. It's kind of like that, where you have to unlearn these patterns of ways of doing that you were using in order to survive in the previous situation. And I think you kind of recognize that. I think that's part of the whole storyteller card from the previous one, where it's like you recognize that there's a negative pattern going on with the people around you, but you also start realizing that you're kind of perpetuating that as well. And in order to stop doing that yourself, you're going to have to leave. Which is honestly kind of mature. It's very mature to be able to recognize that it's not just everyone else, but it's also you. And you're kind of also putting yourself in this situation too. And it's time to stop that. So, and it's going to take time. That's the thing here, is that it's going to take time to unlearn that. I wish we could just be like, well, let's just stop that, and we could just stop whatever patterns we'd learned and just pick up something new. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. It takes practice and it takes time. And this is kind of that warning to be like, you know what? You're gonna see more people like this who are similar to this again and again, and you're gonna have to learn how to recognize that. You're gonna have to learn to recognize in yourself, like, not necessarily what you're doing wrong, because the thing is that don't look at it as I'm doing something wrong. Look at it as, these are some thought processes and patterns that I have that do not belong to me, that I have learned in order to live in a different circumstance or live in a different situation. And that situation is not for me anymore. And so what you're really doing is you're learning to become yourself. You are learning to become who you actually want to be, create the life that you actually want to live, and learn how to attract the life that you want to be in and the situations you want to be in. I don't really want to say attract. That sounds kind of woo-woo. But basically you're learning to become who you want to be, to have the types of life experiences and life situations and friendships and relationships that you want to have, as well as just being the person you want to be. Like, you're becoming yourself. And with this Temperance card, it's kind of about learning again and again how to, like, it's going to take some trial and error. You know, you're going to realize, oh, this thing I've been doing is not quite right. And so you're going to, like, figure out how to find the balance of what is too much, what is not enough. But this is also, I kind of was hearing, like, pick your poison. And it's not so much like pick your poison, more like dilute your poison, where it's kind of like, yeah, you're going to mess up. Yeah, you're going to probably make some mistakes here and there, but understand that you can add a little bit of new things, a little bit of good things into that, and slowly take that away. Like, you're slowly going to unlearn these patterns, and within those patterns place, you're going to learn new things. So be intentional about, hey, I'm going to pick up this new thing. I'm going to try this new thing that's good, and not just be like, I'm stopping this. So it's like, when you're like, I'm going to stop doing this, there's an empty space for that void to fill. So intentionally fill that void with something that you're just like, this is a good habit or a good thought process that I want to pick up and start doing, because it will help me become myself more. And that's kind of what that's about, is like, start slowly replacing the things that you see in yourself that you're like, I don't want to do that anymore, with things that you do want to do. The other thing is about, like, this is going to be hard. Okay. And I'm not trying to say that in, like, a discouraging way. I'm trying to say that as in, like, be prepared type of way. Like, don't just think this is going to be easy. Like, good for you that you're doing this, because it is hard. And so a lot of people don't do it. But, like, that's the thing, is, like, it's hard, and it's okay to acknowledge that. It's okay to recognize that. And so what I mean by that is, have healthy coping mechanisms in place. Think of, like, what are some things that, like, when things start getting really rough and you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore, I'm tired. Like, what is something that is healthy, that is, like, comforting, that is comforting, rejuvenating, that can give you some rest and some peace of mind and recenter and ground yourself when you're feeling like everything is going wrong. Because the other thing is, like, when you're doing this and you are learning a new thought process or learning how to, make new habits, not doing the old ones is going to feel wrong at first, because you've been doing them for so long. So even if logically you know in your head that, like, what you're doing is the right thing, it's going to feel wrong at first, you know what I mean? Because it's just, like, it's breaking that habit. So have, like, good coping mechanisms so that when you feel unmoored, you have something that can help ground you and bring you back kind of again to yourself. So yeah, this is the hard part. This is the advice part of, like, here's how you can, like, help yourself cope with how hard this is going to be. We're going to move on to, like, kind of a hopeful message though. Okay, so here we have the Ace of Pentacles, the Eight of Cups, the Magician, the Ace of Cups, and the Lovers. Definitely with these aces, there's some good opportunities coming your way. There's definitely opportunity. I feel like this is definitely opportunity to leave this, and there's going to be support, I feel like, because it's Pentacles, if that makes sense. But I also feel like with you leaving, you're going to kind of have, I don't know if a burst of creativity is the right way to say it, but, like, you're going to start exercising your own free will in, I guess, a different way, if that makes sense. And it's going to feel liberating, but it's also going to feel like, kind of like, I I'll say a balm to your soul, because that sounds so cliched, but it's kind of like you're like this nice little cup of tea for your heart, you know? It's just like very warming, and it like, again, it could be that thing that grounds you and centers yourself, but it's like you're being encouraged to like use your imagination, whether it could be something creative, and I don't necessarily mean like, if you're like, I'm not an artist, it doesn't have to be like art. It could just be like, it could be like, you know, dressing up for when you go out, and like just kind of putting a more creative or artistic spin in the way you dress yourself and appear. It could be, you know, just thinking more creatively about certain things. I don't have any other ideas. I'm sorry. But yeah, it's kind of like being, you know, again, using your free will in a different creative sort of way that just like nurtures yourself. And so these things like are also like, you are leaving a bad situation. Like you are that the fact that you are leaving the bad situation behind is like hopeful in and of itself. That's motivation in and of itself. It's like, wow, it's really hard doing this right now, but at least I'm not back there still. Like, at least I'm still not living that life that I was living before. Like, this life is bad, which, like, honestly, I've been in those types of situations, and I do regularly think to myself, like, this is really hard what I'm going through right now, but wow, at least I'm not where I was before. Like, at least that other thing is behind me. And that is kind of encouraging. It does kind of put it into perspective, because you're like, oh, wow, I have gone far. I have gone somewhere with this. Like, I haven't stayed stagnant and still in the same place this entire time. I've actually moved forward. And, like, telling yourself that motivationally, being like, actually, you know what? I'm doing the hard thing. And I'm pretty brave for, like, leaving that bad situation and, like, taking on something new. Going out into the unknown and deciding to do something different. Like, I'm brave, I am strong, and I might not necessarily be doing it perfectly right now, but I'm gonna fucking learn how to get this right. Even if, again, it's not perfect, I'm still gonna have a good time doing it, and at least I'm not back there. And that's kind of, I'm not saying that's the only good thing here, but that is, like, kind of the plus side of, like, at least you're not living that old life. Anyways, we also have the Lovers here, and I'm going to interpret the Lovers just a little bit differently than usual. The Lovers usually depicts Adam and Eve in the garden, and I feel like this is like, in this scenario, this is you having left that situation that was probably painted to you as the Garden of Eden, as this was a good situation, this is something that you wanted, this is something, or you were told you should want, this is something that was like, it should have been paradise, it should have been the best thing, and you left, and people were like, thought you were fucking crazy because you left. By the way, people, there are certain mythos where there are characters who intentionally left Eden because it was not the right place for them. Yeah, so this is kind of the idea that you left that place, and because of that, this whole world is open to you. Like, before, it was the place that you were living in was very rigid, it was very stagnant, it was very, like, disempowering, it was very controlling, it was very rigid, there was no room for exploration, and now the entire world is open to you, and it's so much more beautiful than you could thought. It's like going, like, always having been inside, and then suddenly you walk outside and you realize how much more there is to life. And the other thing is, like, I was talking before in the advices section, like, there's going to be, like, you know, it's like leaving the occult and then going outside and realizing, oh, there's actually bad people out here too. But because the whole world is there, it kind of dilutes some of the bad, if that makes sense. It's like there's a different ratio of good to bad because you have the whole world now instead of just like a little isolated world of your own. Like, this is a really weird way to like think of this, but like, it's like, there's more good out there in the world now that the world is larger. So it kind of dilutes some of the impact of the negative. And I don't know. I'm laughing because I personally am kind of pessimistic, and so I would totally use that type of logic to like trick my pessimism into shutting up and being like, actually, this is a good thing, guys. But yeah, no, the world is beautiful, and you're gonna love exploring new experiences that you thought you wouldn't be able to have before or wouldn't be allowed to experience before. You're going to, meet new people, see new things. You're going to see the beauty in life and in the world. Like, I'm not saying that the world doesn't suck. 'Cause yeah, it kind of does. But also there's good things out there too. And you're going to be able to experience those good things and see them for what they are. And you're going to have a sense of wonder kind of return with all of this. Which I think is wonderful. Anyways, I think that's beautiful. That is all that I have for you. Yeah. Good luck out there.